You've joined us on Starting Up. Now, a common grouse amongst the social enterprise sector is the availability of micro debt. That is funds anywhere between 10 to 40 lakhs that typically help these enterprises get off the ground. Well, two startups are working around this and looking to build a community lending model. Dhwani Desai caught up with Rangde and Milap. Here they are.
For a long time, financial bodies across the world have been trying to unearth the hidden potential in lending to individuals at the bottom of the pyramid. Mohammad Yunus and the Grameen Bank has no doubt been a role model to the growth of the microfinance sector in India. But even with the MFIs attaining scale, the jury is still out on whether the microfinance model is the best one in India to reach out to the unbankable borrowers.
Sourcing of funds became an issue as far as the MFIs were concerned. They had to borrow at substantially high rates of interest from banks. Problem really started when there happened to be defaults. People felt that the MFIs were more like your Shylocks of Shakespeare, exploiting this poor class of people.
One potential alternative to the microfinance model is community lending, and Rangde is the first such venture in the space, a non-profit founded by Ramakrishna in Chennai in the year 2008, which lends funds at 15.33% as compared to 28% offered by MFIs, lending primarily to entrepreneurs like potters or zari workers who in many cases run single-man enterprises.
Unlike a traditional microfinance institution, where they raise capital from banks and other funding agencies, we raise capital from individuals and corporate CSR funds.
Their model, a simple one, where unlike the MFIs, which source their funds from banks at high interest rates, funds here are sourced from individuals, hence considerably bringing down the rate of interest. These individuals are willing to make such grants at a meager interest rate of 3.6%. The remaining 11.7% interest rate is split between the amount Rangde keeps for itself for operational expenditure and the 9% that goes to intermediary NGOs or MFIs, who are the real touch points for the end borrowers. Through their website, a person can choose to make that investment towards the entrepreneur of his choice. They can also invest as little as 100 rupees and are repaid either monthly or weekly. The key for Rangde is getting the back end in place, one which ensures that the interests of all the stakeholders are looked into. Another startup in the community lending space is Milap, a for-profit entity founded by Saurabh Sharma and Anuj Vishwanathan in 2010. Before setting up Milap, the two spent almost a year working with the government to structure laws that allow both NRIs and foreigners to invest through their model. Access to foreign funds is their key differentiator, and they provide loans at 12 to 18%. The funding here going towards not just entrepreneurs, but anyone in need of the funds for health, water, sanitation or vocational training. Milap raises capital from individuals and HNIs, but the biggest share of their capital comes from corporates. The donors or investors here can expect 100% of their principal to be returned, but they get zero interest. 7% of the funds is kept by Milap for admin and operational costs, while the remaining 11% is used by the partner NGOs or MFIs.
So a lot of times the loans are dispersed in the form of coupons and vouchers, or the loan is given directly as a fees to the vocational training provider or the school to where the education is happening. So this ensures rightful utilization, and this also ensures that the loans are given out at very low interest rates.
With investors or donors in both these models getting zero or negligible rate of interest, the key question here is whether the model is one that lends itself to scale.
So we definitely need to have more of Rangdes and Milaps. But the whole issue is now of scalability. How many people are here willing to say that I'm going to give you 1 crore rupees and you're going to use it for this particular purpose and I want nothing in return? Today, most of India's philanthropy, especially if we're talking from industry, is more egotistic. We would like to use this money to make sure that my own name comes out saying that I'm running a certain fund, I'm running a certain organization. Presently, the models are working very well, but once this source of funding dries up, that's when the problem will come.
While there's no doubting a great start Milap and Rangde have gotten off, the amount of funds being invested is negligible when you compare it with the MFI sector. For scaling up this model further, community lenders might well want to evaluate a hybrid model where funds from both banks and individuals come together. A model that will not just get the investors a higher interest rate, but also see more smiles on the faces of the end borrower.
If you would like to get in touch with Milap or Rangde, you can visit this particular website. Let's take a quick breather here on the show, but coming up,
the big handicrafts opportunity and how technology might help startups in this sector scale their businesses.